Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. This week, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently than we normally do because there were nothing but crappy news stories. There was nothing I wanted to put in the show, so do something a little different. And I've picked out a couple of articles from the Diz that we're going to discuss in place of news. We're going to talk about Steve Porter's article about the Peoplemover being the single greatest attraction in Disney history. And we're also going to talk about Jackie Gailey's article, 5 Hidden Gem Restaurants at Walt Disney World. Then a little later on, we have Sean Falk and Steve Porter in the Magic Kingdom with a new Dole Whip pineapple upside down cake or something, right? They're in the Magic Kingdom live. And then toward the end of the show, we're going to do something a little different again. And we're going to do Love It, Hate It, Replace It on a few Disney attractions. So all that coming up next. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 961 for the week of October 10th, 2017. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, Mr. Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
Charles Boda.
Hello.
Kathy Whirling.
Hi, everybody.
Julie Martin.
Hey, y'all.
And back in the production nook, our producer, Mr. Craig Williams.
Hello.
Your mic is off.
That is right.
Hello.
There you go. There you
not.
go. So, welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you're having a good week. Just a couple things I want to talk about in housekeeping. First of all, if you want to check out some of the other shows we produce, just head over to dizunplugged.com. You'll find them all there. We're producing more and more every week, it seems. We've finally, I think, gotten back on a regular schedule after, hurricanes and illness and everything else. So got a lot of new shows have gone up this week or going up this week. So head over to dizunplugged.com and check that out. Also, I want to say congratulations to Madison and Haley, who got married the other day. And the only reason I'm doing the call, I don't do that, but I had been asked, I believe it was by Madison, several months ago, to do her wedding proposal on the show.
Oh, jeez.
And we did. And Steve Porter was in the parks a few days ago and ran into them. It was the day they got married.
Aww.
So I thought that was really cool. So I wanted to just give a shout out to Madison and Haley. Congratulations. Best of luck with your future. I also just want to let people know that we had said we were going to do a worst of Food and Wine Festival on our best and worst shows. And we've actually scrapped that because we went to go do it. And we were literally aiming for things we thought we would hate. And we liked them. I ate spinach and liked it.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure, along with wildfires, hurricanes, and earthquakes, that is almost a certain sign of the apocalypse. Someone check Revelations and check me on that, but I'm pretty sure. So I'm not going to make it up. And I'm not saying that there aren't, bad things with Food and Wine. It's just going there intentionally to look for that just didn't seem genuine, and we couldn't do it. We couldn't find anything that we didn't like, so instead we did a dining review at Nine Dragons.
That works.
That'll be coming up on one of our future dining shows, the Disney Dining Show. So that's pretty... what, I'm almost forgetting. The last few days of your opportunity to help raise money for Give Kids the World and have a chance at a once-in-a-lifetime experience spending the night in the Cinderella Suite in Disney's Magic Kingdom. All you need to do is go to omaze.com, OMAZE.com, and just by signing up, you'll get an entry in the raffle, but you can, of course, buy more chances, and that's how they're raising money. And again, you've heard us talk about Give Kids the World for years. An amazing, amazing organization. This money is going to a really good and very well-run cause. It's not just enough to give to charity. You got to give to charities that do the right thing with their money and are responsible with their money. 5 cents, only 5 cents of every dollar donated goes to things like fundraising and administrative costs and things like that. The other 95 cents of every dollar goes directly to the mission. Best run charity in the U.S. So please go help them out. If you want to learn more about them, gktw.org, givekidstheworld.org, and you can find out all about this amazing organization and what they do, and at the same time have a chance at a truly once in a lifetime experience, because you cannot buy this.
No.
You cannot buy a night in the Cinderella suite. It's one of the few things Disney won't sell you, but you can't buy it. So I believe it ends on the 13th, this Friday. Mm-hmm. And they will be drawing, from what I understand, they will be drawing the winner and announcing the winner on the 16th of October. So you've only got a few days left to do this. And of course, the generosity of our listeners is blowing me away. We put something out there at the beginning of this that if you donated $1,500 or more as part of this campaign to Give Kids the World, send us a copy of the receipt, podcast@disunplug.com. We'll take you to dinner. Have dinner with the team. And we've got, I don't know if people are comfortable with me mentioning their names, so I'm not going to right now. But we've gotten some amazing, amazing donations. One came in yesterday that just blew me away, and you know who you are, and I'm going to be emailing you later. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So we're trying to do our part to help out here and raise as much money as we can. So $1,500 or more donated to this event. Send us a copy of the receipt, podcast@disunplug.com, and we will take you to dinner. So really excited to see, how it all shakes out and who wins.
Yeah.
Believe me. So, yeah, that's it from me in housekeeping. Anybody else?
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to mention, not go in depth on it, but it is October, so Connecting with Walt is back for this month.
Oh, that's right.
And then it will go away again and be back in January.
In January.
Yes.
So, awesome. All right. So, let's move on to our first discussion point. Mm-hmm. Steve wrote an interesting article entitled Why this Peoplemover in the Magic Kingdom is the single greatest attraction in Disney history. So the first thing I want to ask you guys, we'll go through what he points out, but hyperbole, yes or no?
Yeah.
Is it the single greatest
It's not
attraction?
the single greatest.
No.
I mean, that's his opinion, and that's fine. But I don't agree that it's the single greatest.
So you think he hit his head? What about you, Kathy?
I don't think it's the greatest. It's a classic. I'd be sad if it went away.
I think it is one of those things where I love it. It's definitely, it's great. It's what fascinates me about it is this was supposed to be like a model for a mode of transportation for an entire city.
Right.
And I think had that come to fruition, my mind would be blown. And there is a small part of me that someday hopes that could still happen. I doubt it will, but as far as like a Disney attraction goes, I have a standard for like how not intuitive, what's the word I'm looking for? How innovative it is,
Mm-hmm.
And like, is this really innovative? Even for Walt's time? I don't know, I mean, it was cool. It was a good idea, but it was a mode of transportation as opposed to like, I see dinosaurs through time travel in other parts of the park. Like, I don't know that this moving cart is the best of all time,
I think an argument can be made for it because, for its purpose, it does it extraordinarily. So I see where Steve's coming from, and I see the smile on his face when you ride it with him. He really does.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I adore this attraction.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Disney excels at theming, and if I was going to pick the end all be all of attraction of all time, it's not the most well themed. It's not such an incredibly in-depth experience. Mm-hmm. It's enjoyable and it's fun, and you gotta do it when you're there. But as far as like the Disney attraction or anything like that, or even the Epcot attraction, it just doesn't have it.
Well, he brings up the point that
It's
very
not at Epcot.
no, it's a
Or I'm
Magic
sorry,
Kingdom.
Future. Yeah.
I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, flustered.
That's all right. He brings up the point that there's no line. Rarely, and if there is a
Right.
line, it's usually like 5 minutes. And if there's a line, it's usually because the ride broke down, and people are just waiting for it to start up again. But that it's that great attraction where if you have a fast pass for something, you got 20 minutes to kill. It's
And if
awesome.
you want to get out of the heat, it's a great place to go.
He mentions that.
I
think-
also found when I looked up some things about it, it's also the only attraction in Magic Kingdom that's sponsored by somebody. I didn't think about that, but it is because it's sponsored by Alamo.
I didn't even know that.
It says it is, like the only place that it mentions it is like on the sign as you come in, and like if they have some signboards, but that's the only place it's mentioned that Alamo supports it. So
Wow,
it's like a dinosaur that way.
Yeah, really. You were going to say something, Julie.
I think it'd be a great place to get in a quick feed for your baby. To
Yeah.
breastfeed.
Yeah, that's a good point. I certainly wouldn't.
It moves, there's a breeze, it provides some privacy if you
Yeah.
don't like to cover up yourself, because the baby can get hot in Florida, obviously,
Right.
being covered. Yeah.
I never would have thought of that, but you're absolutely right. I think that's
Well, you're not having babies.
exactly. Well,
Or breastfeeding.
I've been married. It's almost the same thing. He also points out the history of the attraction, which, as Rhino alluded to, this was actually envisioned to be a mode of transportation in Walt's original idea of Epcot, which was not a theme park but a city. And when you do this attraction, ironically enough, you go through one area where you see a model of Walt envisioned as Epcot, as this experimental prototype community of tomorrow, which is what Epcot stands for. And so there is some great history with it. As he also mentions breeze, that it is really nice on a hot day. Mm-hmm. That because it goes at a pretty good clip, and you do get a nice breeze.
I think there's a great opportunity for photos up there too, or fun video, or I don't
Video
know. I'm
more than
thinking video
photos.
more, because you're moving too fast.
You're moving too fast for
But
photos.
for me, it offers a unique perspective on the park that you've seen many times walking through. So that's what I really enjoy. I like being taken out and being able to see all the people like having a good time, or like you come by the castle and sometimes the show's going on and the fireworks go off. Right, it kind of puts it all into a little bit of a momentary perspective because you're out of the crowd for a second, you're breezing through there, and you're just kind of like seeing it all. I don't know, it's one of those things where I wish like maybe it went everywhere in the park because I just love that.
I don't know, I just got really excited, but I think it'd be a great proposal spot. You know how when you go into the dark and it's so dark you can't see anything?
Yeah. Oh,
it'd be the perfect time
wow.
to for the guy to pull the ring out, and as you come into the light, he could just sort of turn. Shut up, Craig. I think this, if you
I
were a
think that's
Disney
awesome.
fan and you love the Peoplemover or the
Yeah.
Magic Kingdom, I think that would be so awesome.
That is-
and you'd hear her scream as the light comes on.
Yeah, how many
times?
times? How many times do we get emails from people
I
saying,
know,
"Can you
that's
give
why
us
I said
proposal
it."
ideas?"
that's a
That
good
is
idea.
genius.
Okay, I want my credit, people.
That's
Let's do that.
genius. I want somebody to do that. We want pictures. And
Craig is over there this
holding
is the
up a
worst
sign,
idea ever.
holding up a sign saying, "Thank you, Julie." What? Why are you making faces?
It was based on a previous conversation that we had before the show
Oh.
about
Okay.
something else, and it kind of. I'm not going into it.
No,
you
no,
can
you
check
can't.
the Diz later. I'm sure it's going to be on our site.
Is it the frog hair?
I didn't.
Said you look fancy as a frog hair or
No,
something like
I
that.
told him. He asked how I was, and I said I'm fine as frog hair.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
And Rhino's never heard that before, and I said, well, you're not Southern.
Neither have I.
It means you're doing good, and if somebody tells you you're fine as frog hair, it means you're looking good.
Oh, okay.
That's the sign I'll be holding when they're proposing to each other.
So I think that's a great idea. I also, I don't know that I mean this seriously, but I thought it would be awesome if Disney did a thing where you could get like a nice box lunch and just like stay on it as long as you
Oh,
want
that's
and
cool.
eat.
Yeah.
Like your own little private dining car.
Yeah.
Like they used to do that to one of the train areas up where I'm from. You could go at like Christmas time and they let you just stay on and you just go through, and it was cool. That's a great idea.
I thought that would be really,
Yeah,
really cool.
that's
You know,
cool.
you could stay on as long as you
It's
want.
no cabanas in Tomorrowland idea, but it's a good idea.
I thought that would be a really cool, you know, because they like, they're all into the upcharge thing right now. And I've just, every time I've gone on that, 'cause I absolutely love it, and I always think it's too short, and I wish I had snacks. So
It'd be a super easy thing to do because they have that fast food area right outside of it in the, I forget what it's called. The one
lunching
that-
pit.
Yeah, and then, so if they gave you like a box and it was like, give this tag to the cast member when you get up there, and they like just tag your vehicle, and so when it comes around, he just tells you to like, oh, you guys stay seated, just let us know when you
Yeah.
want to get out or something.
okay,
like
I
that.
would never leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be on that
Spend the day,
attraction.
yeah.
It would make it have a
our
wait.
conference calls from up there.
Yeah, really. do staff
Blackouts
meetings.
coming up.
Do staff meetings.
When
But-
I was looking for different things, because I didn't get to Disney till like '96, and obviously things had changed on the Peoplemover. But they were saying that the tunnel where you go around by Buzz Lightyear, there used to be 3 windows, and 1 and 2 were on the train's right, and then there were 3 windows on the train's left, and it was for if you had wings, and the windows were placed to look down into Mexico, Jamaica, and Trinidad. And then when when it went to if you had wings, the windows no longer lined up correctly. So the first window was replaced with backlit panels depicting the ride's barnstormer scene. Window 2 looked down into the Parisian excursion, and the third window would have had people looking into a light, so they covered it up. So I missed that. You know, now that I know that there was something else there, it's like, why didn't they put something else there for you to look at when you're going around on the Peoplemover?
Yeah, I agree. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all. So, Craig, what are your thoughts on the Peoplemover?
I mean, I like it just like any other ride, but it's not the single greatest attraction in Disney history. I mean, if I was to answer that, like, what is the single greatest attraction, I would think of what is the one experience that you truly can't get anywhere else, or even if you can
Okay.
get it anywhere else, what is the absolute best version of it?
All right,
And-
so you know what? Let's throw that out.
I don't know if I can answer that.
What is the single greatest attraction in Disney history?
It's a tough one.
You brought us there, Craig.
I'm sorry that I brought us there because I don't have an answer right off the top of my head, but
What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
the first thing that comes to my mind is Splash Mountain because it marries thrills with a story being told.
Great story, yeah.
It's immersive throughout the entire thing. Like, you do feel like you're right in there, a part of it, and it's... there's plenty of other log rides out there, and Tony Baxter kind of got the inspiration from watching like the Knott's Berry Farm log ride, and that's also one that's very loved. But I don't think I've ever been on a flume ride that's ever been better. Like over at Universal, Dudley Do-Right's Rips Off Falls. Yeah, you get soaked on it, and it whips you, but it's two different
It's a
things.
crappy story, and it's not
Yeah.
immersive theming at all.
And that's just the one that would immediately jump out of mind. I don't think any flume ride's ever been done better.
Now,
So.
now, Charles, you're newly exposed to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So, based on what you've experienced, because you've been out in Disneyland once and you've been to the parks here, what would you say right now, in your experience, would rate as the greatest?
Well, they were my childhood favorites, and they're still my favorites. And I think I'm going to give the edge to Pirates. I was going to go with Pirates or The Mansion. But the thing is, animatronics are very important. If I'm describing like what a Disney experience is to me, it's immersive the entire way through. There's only that one drop, but it is enough if you're not expecting it to kind of get your heart racing.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
when I was
Go
a
through
kid,
the
it
rest of
terrified me.
Yeah. The entire thing. I mean, it crafts a magical world with its own story that I used to want to like jump into. I don't like the intellectual property stuff with the Jack Sparrow is always going to annoy me. But, as far as that ride in and of itself, that is yeah, that is the top for me. That is a world that I'm stepping into. That's what I'm always going to think about first when I think about Disney. And I would never leave a park with somebody who hadn't been there to the Magic Kingdom without making sure that they had ridden that ride. I was in California, and it was closed down, their version, and it was like heartbreaking. That was the one thing everybody was telling me. You love Pirates? Disneyland, you gotta hit that ride. And it was closed the entire time I was there. So I'm still looking forward to going to that next time. So yeah, Pirates is definitely top of my list, I think.
Good answer.
I'd actually probably agree with you. You make a valid point. I think we have the same sort of like criteria that it's met, where like, you know, Disney is the first kind of person who created theme parks as opposed to amusement parks, and so I think theming has to go hand in hand with that. And so also animatronics are a big thing for me too. That I feel like that is signature Disney, and I want to see that. I like environments. And I was originally going to say the Haunted Mansion, because when I was a kid, it was, you know, it's a mansion and you go in, but you're going through and it's telling the story, and there's not only just animatronics, but there's like just cool practical effects, but then like the lighting and the zombie dancers and everybody. And it was just, there's so much going on, and but now you've made such a valid point about Pirates that I think it might be Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, no, because you're kind of convincing me towards the Haunted Mansion. Because then in my head, you talk about that ballroom scene.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
I didn't ask anybody to tell me how it was done, and then finally, like,
I still don't understand
6 months ago,
Charles.
somebody told me how it was done.
I'll explain it to you later.
They're like, oh, I don't want to ruin it for you. They told me it has not ruined it for me. I completely forget how they do it every single time. I know exactly how they do it, and I'm re-immersed every time I go in.
But it's still one of those things where like somebody has explained it, but I'm still like, I don't understand physics and
Well, it's not physics.
Science.
It's not physics, but I hope you will reach beyond, Kathy. I hope you will reach beyond. And in the spirit of this discussion, what do you think the greatest... And I will fire you if you say Figment.
Can I say the original Figment?
You could say the original Figment.
Yeah, I don't think the version we have now holds a candle to the original one.
Absolutely, 100% agree.
Because I think everybody that knows this version or the second version always goes, but you had to see the first version. So Figment would be up there. I think Soarin' would be another one for me, because that was sort of, when they took you up in the air. I mean, everybody, I can go, yeah, I agree with all of your things. But for me, Soarin', it was like, that got me out of my comfort zone the first time I did Soarin', and I did it out in California. And when I sat down, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But they had me next to like a 4-year-old little boy, and I'm like, well, hey, if this little boy can ride Soarin', and then I did it, I'm like, wow. So I'd be, I wish we could go back to the original version.
Agree with you on that too.
So there's lots of rides. I'd be hard pressed to pick one.
Julie, what about you?
Mine is not a ride.
Okay.
It's the World Showcase.
Oh, okay.
Y'all know, I love the World Showcase. I believe that if you're a person who is not going to ever be able to experience going outside of the United States, that's the perfect way for you to get a little taste of
And you really do.
all of these little countries, because you get to speak to people who actually are from that country. They've lived there, they've worked there, usually for most of their lives, and they're just here on a work visa. Food, some sort of little cultural, either film or, entertainment. I just love the World Showcase. But I do have to agree with Kathy as far as a ride. Soarin' for me, which I love Splash Mountain. I love all that you guys have mentioned, but a newer attraction for me is Soarin'. If it ever went away, I would be devastated. And I like both versions. But World Showcase tops it.
Talking about World Showcase, we actually went to Beer Garden the other night, and that was sort of sad because I think Beer Garden has gone downhill. But my grandson, who's now in kindergarten, was just fascinated that we were like in Germany. And we had an awesome waitress that she's worked there for 30 years. And she took the time to explain to him about the different flags in there and told him some different German words. And my granddaughter just loved going down and dancing with the performers. So, yeah, it's...
And by granddaughter,
It's
she means herself.
It's not just fun, Kathy. It's educational.
Right. My grandson was just so thrilled that he learned something while he
There
was
are
in
not a lot of things where they can learn and have fun at Disney, in my opinion.
Edutainment. I think Disney pretty much coined the term and invented the concept, or at least elevated it to an art form in edutainment. You're absolutely right. It's funny you talk about World Showcase, though. Just the other day, I was thinking about the shopping, the shopping segments you would do around World Showcase and how good they were. I think you should do that again.
Yeah, because they've changed a lot. Like
Yeah.
they've gotten rid of a lot of things that I loved
Like it's come up
and
it's
replaced it with crap.
it's like come up in my head like 2 or 3 times in the last month. So it's funny you just mentioned that it came up again. So I thought I'd throw it out.
Let's
I love
go,
it.
Julie.
I will shop with you, Ryan.
You and Ryan. Okay, for me, everybody makes good arguments. And it really depends on which criteria I'm going to use to gauge it. Do I go the emotional route? If I'm going to go the emotional route, it's definitely going to be Soarin'. Mainly because my mother and I are both terrified of heights. And we ride this together every opportunity we get. That and Small World because, my mother tells the story all the time. She was at the 64 World's Fair, pregnant with me, riding the original. If I'm going to go for nostalgia in terms of my own Disney history, it's Haunted Mansion. I think it is incredibly immersive. It's a great story. I never get tired of riding it, but it's a close second with Pirates. It's another big favorite of mine. But I'm going to bypass all those.
Oh.
I'm going to bypass all of those. And I'm going to say Flights of Passage at Pandora.
Wow.
I think that is the greatest attraction Disney has ever produced. I think it is incredibly done. It takes the best of Soarin'. It takes the best of 3D experience. When you do those drops, you're not physically moving.
Right.
But when you do those drops, you feel your stomach go. It's to the point where, I did it two times one day. Once before lunch and once after. And after lunch, I'm like, that was a bad idea. I think it is absolutely genius the way it was done. And I know there will be people that won't agree with me on that. But in my opinion right now, if I had to pick one attraction that I think is the best Disney's ever done, it's got to be that one.
Well, that's the best thing about opinions. Yours is never wrong. It's yours.
That's right. Everyone else is mine.
It sort of reminds me of like if you rode Test Track here and then you went out and did Radiator Springs. It's sort of like the evolution of the ride that makes our Test Track look sort of lame. And the same thing with Soarin'. Like Soarin' was such a big deal until you do Flights of Passage and you go, it's like they learned from Soarin' and made it, because on Flights of Passage, I'll close my eyes when it gets to those. And I know we're not going anywhere, but it sure feels like you're diving,
Exactly. Exactly. So, all right. I thought that was a good discussion.
I really liked it better than the news.
Well, that's, again, look, I don't want anybody to think that we do a lot of over-preparing for these shows. We really don't. Sometimes it is Tuesday morning, and I'm like, okay, what are we doing? And that was kind of the case today. I was kind of waiting to see if any news stories emerged last night or this morning that would be good topic points. And I'm going through, and I'm like, we do the news 5 days a week on the Daily Fix. So I'm like, let's try something different. So that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Let's see how the next one goes. Jackie Gailey wrote an article this week about 5 hidden gem restaurants at Walt Disney World, and I love Jackie to death. But her first one, she fell down and hit a head. Grand Floridian Cafe.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd call that a hidden gem.
Hidden germ, maybe. I don't know that I call it a hidden gem. really, I mean, especially at the Grand Floridian, flagship resort for Walt Disney World, and this restaurant has consistently been a beacon of mediocrity for years. And so I don't particularly agree. And I know there are people who love it, and I'm not saying you're wrong. You are. But I don't agree with that. Who else has eaten?
We
at Grand
actually
Floridian
just did a
Cafe?
dining blog there, Craig and I.
No. Rhino, that's Gasparilla Island Grill.
Just kidding. I've never eaten citrus. And I made this mistake in the
Yeah.
video.
I don't know how
I
many more
do
times I have to
not
tell
learn.
him.
Oh, jeez.
Well, but that says something that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It certainly does.
It's been years for me, but we have eaten there in the past. It was nothing special.
it has all...
Wait, what's this one called? We
Grand
did eat
Floridian
there. I ate
Cafe.
there with you.
Yes,
Never
we
mind.
did.
Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah. Okay.
Grand Floridian Cafe. It has all the elements needed.
Yes.
It's in a beautiful resort. It has a beautiful theme. It's airy. It's like,
It's a nice place, a room to be in.
it's a beautiful room, a beautiful space. I've always had good service. It's just the food coming out. I don't understand it, especially in a resort where you have two of the best restaurants at Walt Disney World. One, arguably the best restaurant at Walt Disney World, and Citrico's, and of course Victoria and Albert's, and Norcusi's, which is not one of my favorites either, but I wouldn't put it on Grand Floridian Cafe on par with that. But that was one of hers. The other one was Teppanydo in the Japan Pavilion in Epcot, and that's the
quick service?
Teppanydo,
No,
the
it's the-
hibachi.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I always get
Yeah.
the hibachi mixed up
See,
with the sushi
have you been
part.
to Walt Disney World?
Crack the egg, flip the shrimp tail,
I don't read everything. I just kind of travel where my nose takes me.
That's
Toucan
that's a
Sam.
family favorite for us. When we want to do something special, we go there. Just again, it's sort of like the production that goes on while you're eating, and we take the grandkids there too, and they like the flipping the shrimp and into the chef's hat and things like that. Is the food again? That's another place that over the years the quality of the food has gone downhill, or the selection of the food has gone downhill. Still like to go. It's just not as magical as it used to be.
I mean, the thing is, like, the first time we did it as a family, I'm pretty sure that was the first time we've ever eaten at a hibachi grill, because growing up in Western Pennsylvania, I mean, I'm sure they had one in Pittsburgh, but where we lived, there was not just a Japanese restaurant around. And so, but I mean, now they're living in Orlando. I mean, you can't walk 10 feet without hitting a Kobe. So they're much more prevalent around this area. But for people who do live in a place that don't get this type of food, I think it's absolutely something you should go out of your way. It's entertaining. The
It is
food's good
entertaining.
enough. And, you can learn a little bit too.
I'm
Always
sorry.
remember that you could be seated with strangers, though. Don't think that you're
Yeah.
going to have a hibachi table to yourself.
Right.
Right, yeah, if you don't like new people, don't
Yeah.
do this. Yeah.
But sometimes the people that they seat you with, it's
I
like
think
it's
they
a
try
small
to-
world kind of.
I also think they try to match up, like if you have kids, try to match up with another family that have kids, and then if you're adults, try to keep adults at the table. I think that's kind of nice if they do
Yeah.
that.
So I would agree. Hidden gem, it is okay. To a
I
little
wouldn't
Yeah.
call it hidden gem though. I'm with you on the first two.
Yeah. Whispering Canyon Cafe is number 3 on our list, which is at Wilderness Lodge. And I agree with it for breakfast. For breakfast in specific, because I think the breakfast is very good. And the cast members are very, it's like almost like a show. It's
Yeah.
kind of a la 50s Primetime Cafe. And
But with
This-
cowboys.
yeah, exactly, with cowboys. So I agree with her on this one. I think it doesn't get a lot of love, it doesn't get a lot of attention, but it's really good. And I think part of it is that maybe Wilderness Lodge is a little out of the way in terms of it's not on the monorail, it's not Ohana, it's not 1900 Park Fair. But I think this is Whispering Canyon is worth going out of your way for.
But I think what helps there is if somebody does a thing like they ask for ketchup. Like I've been there where nobody's
funny.
gone for the joke. And it's like, yeah, okay, it's just a loud restaurant. But when people are in on that, it
more
makes
fun.
it more fun.
Yeah, and it is loud.
Yeah.
Make no
It's a
mistake.
great place for families.
Oh, it is,
Yes.
especially
Yes.
with young kids.
Yeah.
It's rowdy. It's fun. You don't feel, I guess I would imagine you probably don't feel self-conscious with your kids there because
Yeah. Right.
it is loud and a little rambunctious. La Hacienda de San Angel in Mexico in Epcot. That's the that's the quick service across the street, right? Across the way.
No, it's the restaurant.
Yeah.
On the
Oh,
water
wait.
side.
Not the one inside. The
the restaurant across from the pavilion.
yes.
Not the one inside. San Angel Inn is the one
Right,
inside.
but it's not the
Yeah.
quick service. It's the sit down.
The sit
Yeah.
down, which I did not like.
I haven't done that one.
I haven't eaten at that one.
I've done it once, and I really enjoyed it. So it's definitely on the pricier side.
See, I did
for-
it when it first opened, and I wasn't a fan.
I haven't done it in about 3 years. My thing with Mexican food is if I can, to me, I would almost rather have a $5 meal out of a Mexican food truck than I would have a
Really?
$30.
Would you? You and Corey didn't learn your lesson?
Not out of a pickup truck again, out of a normal food truck. But yeah, it's for me that you can find better authentic food at a much more reasonable price. I know that can be said about anything. The food there is not that bad. It's just I like dive places, and so it's the complete opposite of dive. It's
Yeah.
if you want kind of a classier Mexican restaurant experience.
That
So-
was my only issue with it. I love the interior. I love the way it's designed and decorated. It's beautiful. There are some items on the menu that I do enjoy, but there are some different menu items. Like they include a lot of seafood in their menu items. Like I'm just straight up, I want a taco with some ground beef, people. You can't get that there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And their kids menu is leaves a little to be desired, in my opinion. It's not as kid friendly as I would like it to be, as far as offering more things that they would actually eat. So, because even a typical Mexican restaurant, just anywhere in Orlando, I can go and they will serve a hamburger or chicken nuggets because they know all kids don't eat Mexican
Right,
food.
exactly.
Or Japanese food or whatever. They're going to try to offer something that a child will eat. They don't. At least not since I've been in.
Okay.
So,
And finally, yeah, she really hit her head. The wave of American flavors at the Contemporary. I'm sorry.
I've never been there either.
Well, I'm going to
I mean,
I'm going to send
I
you
had a drink
guys.
there.
We're
I
gonna,
haven't
we're
I've
gonna-
only been to the bar too.
No, I've eaten there, and again, when it first opened, I thought it was very good, and then subsequent attempts at dining there, I had one really good lunch once, but there were times that I just found myself in there when I was at the Contemporary, and you start after a while, you start feeling like Charlie Brown with the football, with the wave being Lucy, and like, okay, this time maybe it'll be good, maybe this time. She won't pull it away. Oh, okay, she did. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, we went a couple weeks ago, right after the hurricane, and I'm there like, okay, this is a semi-pricey buffet compared to other buffets on property. I almost felt like I was at the Marriott, and they set up some tables back in the corner. And
Oof.
Was this for breakfast?
Yeah, it was for breakfast, and it's like it was okay, but like I would have thought for the price, maybe somebody would have been making the waffles or something while you were standing there. But it was sort of like it was tucked back in the corner. I mean, what I had was good. It lacked atmosphere, I guess.
See, and now for me, a true hidden gem restaurant, because it's literally hidden, is Monsieur Paul, which is the French restaurant that's above the French restaurant in France. You have to go around the back and up the stairs. There's always availability. We celebrated my niece's birthday a few weeks ago. I took her there. Consistently, amazing food. I mean, ridiculously good. Now it's on the expensive side, but it's not it's not more expensive than pretty much any place else that you go for a signature restaurant. But delicious food. Service was beyond good. And it's like that every time I go there. Yet you can always get reservations.
I would agree. The last time we were there, it was a miss, and that does rarely ever happen. But Ferris's fish wasn't cooked all the way through; it was
Oh.
literally cold.
Oh my God!
Both of our meals really left something to be desired. And service wasn't bad. It's always good. I love the bread bowls and baskets, that they bring. But the meal itself, we left really disappointed because we went there specifically. We knew we could get a reservation. We knew they would take, they have a kids menu, whatever. But it was very disappointing. But every other time has been good. And I know that they can have off days or whatever.
Yeah.
But, oh, man. Cold
Yeah,
fish.
because I've not had that experience.
Eli and I like Sanaa a lot. I didn't even
That's
know this
another hidden
existed.
gem.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because Eli was
Now
the one
that's,
who brought
just,
me one year.
Just for people who don't know, Sanaa is African themed restaurant at Animal Kingdom Lodge back in the Kidani Village area, which is the Disney Vacation Club portion of Animal Kingdom Lodge.
So it's not somewhere I didn't think
It's
like
very
there's
out of
a
the way.
restaurant back here. Yeah, and it's weird. Not weird parking, but it's like a parking structure almost that you go into that I'm just like, I had never heard of it. He had brought it up, and we've gone, and now when anybody asks me, like we've gone, I mean, I've been there probably maybe 3 times now, maybe 4, but it's another one of those consistently good. It's different. The flavors aren't going to be for everybody, but I liked it that there was a nice middle ground, and I felt like, we're being a little adventurous, but there was always some like safe stuff in there, and but it's a beautiful area, beautiful restaurant, and because it's like kind of hidden, it's usually easy to get into, I feel like, but that's just me. I like it, but that kind of food's not for everybody.
Craig, what about you? You got a hidden gem?
It's tough because on one side, I don't think there's really any hidden gems anymore in terms of dining. It's like in terms of places that aren't very popular that a lot of people don't go to because those ones typically aren't popular for a good reason. Something like Nine Dragons. I know you guys had a good time there the last time you weren't there, but I would never.
Well, we had a mixed experience, but it was overall it was pretty positive.
But so I don't know if there would be. The only one that like comes to mind that I think about that I can like walk in all the time without really needing any haven't needing any reservations or anything and have a fantastic experience is why can't I think of it, the sushi place inside the Swolfen.
Kimonos.
Kimonos, yes, kimonos. That's my hidden gem. You can always walk in, get a table, have sushi,
You're right about
do some
that.
karaoke, and it's a good time in there. So that's mine.
All right, looking at the time, I should probably move this along because this discussion
Turned out really well.
Can I just say, Bongo's Express Window.
Oh, really? Is it better than inside?
You can't get empanadas inside. Well, at least you couldn't a long time ago. And if you can now, I got them, but the empanadas outside are better and quicker.
Okay.
But I'm an empanada lover, so I know where to find those.
Okay. Good enough. As I watch my producers scramble to get Steve and Sean on Skype. So yeah, I thought this went well.
No, it was good.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was very engaging.
Yeah.
To say for everybody.
Sometimes
and I feel
news
like
stories,
it was fun,
you don't feel
we
a
don't
certain
get
way
the chance
about.
to all be in a group and talk about these kind of things that we love that with like a prompt like that
Right.
very often. So.
I don't know if Steve was on a freeze frame or if he had a stroke.
He looks like he's had plastic surgery from this.
Yeah, I think something's wrong with the connection there.
Yeah.
Are you talking?
That or the Dole Whip was terrible.
You're saying we're frozen. Are we frozen?
Well, now you're blocky, guys. But all right,
Oh, sorry, we're in this little.
we can make it work. We can make it work. You're also like,
Okay.
it looks like you're being lit by Ed Wood right now.
I think it's the movie Powder.
All right, so we
We're a little
have
blonde.
Sean Falk and Steve Porter over in the Magic Kingdom. Where are you guys right now?
We're actually in a little cubby in Adventureland, hiding from the sun because it's a warm day outside. And we also are hiding from the sun because we have the new Dole Whip pineapple upside down cake for $6.49.
Yeah, you've got a bad connection, and like
They forgot their parasols, apparently, so they're in the shade.
the connection's a little off, so the video is very choppy. So go ahead and hold up whatever you have there.
And just hold it there
Okay.
for a while. Can you tap on it
Are
on your
they both
screen?
holding
there
it?
we go.
There you go.
Oh, that's okay. That's cute. That's cute. So
Spin
it's-
it around for us.
It's going to melt right off of there.
Jeez, tap the screen.
yeah, tap the screen. Okay, now we just have a still shot of Steve's finger going up. For those listening to the show, I apologize. For those watching the
This is
show,
not going
I
well.
apologize.
Yeah.
This is
I
2
don't know
weeks
why
in a
I-
row. This is 2 weeks in a row. This segment has not gone well.
This is operator.
So
not working.
there we go. It's a little bit better now.
Okay.
So tell me about it. Tell me about this new thing.
Yep. So it's a new snack at Aloha Isle where you can get Dole Whip, and now you can get Dole Whip upside down cake, pineapple upside down cake. They do accept the snack credit for it, and we each had our own, and then actually, unfortunately, we had to buy another one because our first one's melted. So this is attempt number 2.
How much are
But
they?
it's delicious. $6.49.
$6.49, or it's a snack credit on the Disney dining plan. So
Exactly, yep.
how is it? Is it any good?
It's delicious. Yeah, it's really good. I actually like it to take a little bit of the Dole Whip and a little bit of the pineapple upside down cake and like mix it all into one.
That's
Super
the point.
Good. I think it's going to be
Will you guys
even more
feed each
popular
other?
once this
I'm
catches on
sorry, I
social
couldn't
media.
resist.
So Sean, what did you think of it?
I don't have a microphone. Okay. I think it's really good. It's great because the actual upside down cake is warm, and with ice cream being cold, so they did a good job as far as that goes. So it does have that mix, like, the desserts where you get a cookie with ice cream on top. So it is similar to that kind of thing. I think it's really good, and I don't think it's Disney good. I think it's just good, period. Like even outside of Disney. So
okay.
Usually their snacks are kind of, you're stuck in the park, so you have to get what they have. But this is something that I think is actually good even outside the park.
Okay.
So,
And worth?
yeah, so it's definitely good.
You feel like it's worth the $6.49?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
I think actually for Disney pricing, I'm kind of surprised that it's this low. I feel like for Disney pricing, they could charge $9 or something.
Okay, you know what's
Yeah.
going to happen now, right?
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. You know what's going to happen now. They're like, oh, okay, he thinks we can go to $8. Let's go to $8.
No. I'm just saying it is the value for now.
So, all right, what else is on your else is on your agenda for today?
Well, we're actually after this over for a late lunch at Captain Cook's because Sean hasn't been in so long that he doesn't remember ever going there. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that's a must do because that's been my favorite like quick service type of location on Disney property. So,
And here's
Yeah.
hoping that next week's version of this segment goes off without a hitch, because this has been like watching a slideshow. But all right, good enough, guys.
I'm trying.
Thank you so much for calling in, and we'll see you. Well, I'll see you, Steve, next week. So I'll see both of you next week. So be good.
right.
All right. So with that, let's go ahead and move over to rapid fire. Did that look good?
What? No.
I'm not a fan of the Dole Whip, though.
I'm not a big fan of the Dole Whip either.
And pineapple upside down cake. I just like regular plain old pineapple.
I thought you meant Steve's call. I was like, no, Pete, we all saw
No.
it. Terrible.
No, what he was talking about.
Yeah. It
So-
won't be something that I try.
I'll try it. I mean, like, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. Like, I think Dole Whip is one of those things that's become a little overrated for me.
A little?
Like, but I'm a sucker for you put
Orange
ice cream and
slush,
cakes
people.
together.
Orange
I don't know.
slush all the way.
For me, the thing is the Dole Whip, because it's not dairy based. I don't feel like it would go good then with a cake as much. It's kind of to me, it's almost like. Dole Whip is very
you're putting-
unique, but it's almost
yeah.
like putting sherbet on a
On a
cake.
cake,
And
yeah.
that to me sounds a little iffy, but that's just me.
I don't like squishy cakes. We all know I don't like that word, so you add more of that word.
Which
to
word?
this cake.
Moist.
I just don't, yeah,
Thank you, Julie.
I don't care.
All right.
I'd eat the cake and give the Dole Whip to somebody else.
See, I would eat the cake, but I'll try it. I'll try it the next time I'm over there. But all right, let's hear your rapid fire.
Okay, so anybody that was looking for some of that Epcot 35th anniversary merchandise, if you stood in line for hours and hours and hours, guess what? You can still get some of it on the app. So you have wasted your time, and I apologize for that. You did good. I mean, I if you're missing something, I'd check on the Disney Parks app and check for it.
I'm sorry. How bogus is that you
Oh.
can now buy a T-shirt that said "I was there" and you weren't?
And they
Yep.
advertised, I said it on the Daily Fix because I read from the Disney released article that it was only going to be available in the park on that day and nowhere else. And then they're like, oh, just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We tricked you. Yeah, I also had heard, somebody told me a story that they didn't even have all the merchandise in the same place that day and nobody knew that. So people
Yeah.
were waited an hour and a half
Yep.
for a magic band that then they had to go into mouse gears to get.
Yep.
And then the Figment
Corey
Pop
told
was
me that.
somewhere else, and then the other thing, and I was like, oh my, I don't get like.
But no,
Variety
that was
that often?
brilliant. That was brilliant. Then they did that because if they would have put all the magic bands with the I Was There stuff as well as the Figment Pops, that would have been a 5-hour line, and people who were going in to just get like a pin would then have been completely disappointed because they waited in line for something that someone who went and bought 10 Figment vinyls also decided, well, why not just buy the max amount of pins I can get too? So I think they were smarter. They separated people so that way you had to choose what was important to you that day, and that's what you had to go for.
Okay.
If
But now you can just get it online anyway. So,
Yeah, might as well get one.
all right. Thank you, Rhino. Charles.
So Disney has another ride patent out that could be used for Spider-Man, maybe Tarzan. Both of those are actually mentioned in the patent. And pretty much what it is it's like imagine sitting on a bench, and then that bench is attached to a swing arm, and the swing arm is attached to a track. So the ride would move around a track from scene to scene, and as it moved, the swing arm could make it feel like you were swinging. So it could simulate that, and it changes up speed, so slow or pause up top, and then a quick swing down, and
I didn't think. Well, I mean, out in California, they don't have this restriction, but here, they can't put a Spider-Man attraction in a Disney park because of Universal.
Yeah, no, so it could be for anything. My problem is it sounds like a third-rate knockoff of something like Forbidden Journey. It sounds like the Carnival knockoff of it. We want to do something where you move around on a track, but we're not going to put you on a KUKA robot and move you around in fun directions. We're just going to swing you back and forth. Like it sounds. This does not.
Ship ride.
Yeah, exactly. It's like put the pirate ship ride on a track, and then that's what this is. It sounds kind of.
Well, I don't know. I think Disney usually does a better job with attractions than that, but your point's well taken. So, all right, thank you, Charles. Kathy.
Okay, mine is the stage show Star Wars Galaxy Far, Far Away is closed October 10th until the 22nd because they're redoing the stage. They wanted it to be more mobile, so they're working on the thing. So no show for 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. Julie.
I just realized that mine's for California.
Don't worry, I put it in the slide too.
Julie's Disneyland update.
I just picked a rapid fire and sent it.
Hey, just so Craig knows, there's dairy in sherbet too. People are pretty upset about that, so don't worry, Julie.
Okay. Anyways, if you're in California, and so sorry, Disneyland team, Anna and Elsa's Boutique closed, and it reopened on October 7th, which was Corey's 40th birthday, FYI. And it reopened as the Dream Boutique. So now it carries character-inspired clothing, accessories, and hats, plus costumes, along with the accessories that go with those costumes, so that your young one can dress as their favorite Disney princess. Of course, they have dolls and plushes, but they will not be giving any royal transformations here anymore. That's the big deal. You have to go to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. You cannot go to the Dream Boutique or whatever.
I wonder if they have anything that'll fit Rhino. I want to dress him like a princess and march him around the parks.
It'd be beautiful.
All right, thank you, Julie. Craig.
Okay, Disney's Winter Summerland miniature golf course is having some refurbishment happening. So right now, currently, the summer course is closed for maintenance until November 10th, so it'll reopen on the 11th. Then the winter course will remain open until the 22nd. We'll undergo refurbishments from the 23rd to November 10th and reopen again on the 11th. Why are you wasting your time going to Winter Summerland? Go to Fantasia Gardens. It's closer to stuff, and the hard course is a lot more fun compared to this, but that's my opinion.
I disagree completely with that statement. I think Winter Summerland is much better than Fantasia. So you're wrong again.
I thought he was going to tell us they were going to change it to Fall Springland. Sorry. Corey's not here. I'm just trying to hold up the cheesy end of the table.
All right, thank you, Craig. All right, before we go, I thought we'd do something, again, a little different. Love it, hate it, replace it. This is a vlog series that these guys have been doing for a while, and I thought it might be fun to just kind of do a a somewhat shorter version of it. So I'm going to throw out an attraction. You guys are going to tell me, love it, hate it, or replace it. So, I'm giving you side eye there, Mrs. Whirling. Journey into Imagination at Epcot. In its current form. Love it, hate it, replace it. Rhino.
Replace it.
With what?
Oh, God, I don't care.
Oh, I have to give you something to replace it with? Oh.
Anything. I don't
just
know.
Rhino.
Yeah. I'd even say just keep the ride track and make it something else. Or I'm not saying get rid of Figment. I'm just saying I don't care. I don't even care. I can't even think of something that would go in there. They keep rumoring about that. What's the things with the colors in your head?
Inside Out.
Inside Out. I would be okay with that. I think that would be cool. But that's just me. I don't know.
Now, Charles, have you done this attraction? You did it with me at the 20th, right?
I did not.
Oh, you did not.
I
That's
have
right.
not done it since I was a child. So
Well, then you saw the good
You
one.
have an
yeah,
opinion.
exactly. So I loved it at the time, but I haven't gone back to the new one because everybody else hates it or wants to replace it generally. So
Kathy?
I'd say replace it, but
Ah!
but with a better version with Figment in it and not just a scene in Inside Out, which is the rumor.
I see. I think bringing back Dreamfinder,
Oh, definitely.
keeping Figment, and building another attraction around that
Yeah.
was what I would replace it.
Use
We
those
agree.
Figment comic books for inspiration. That's what I'll say. Replace it with the Figment comic inspiration because it's got Dreamfinder, Figment, and those comics are all about Epcot. So there you go.
Julie?
Replace. Inside Out, all the way.
Okay. I mean, I love that movie too, but they can't. Figment is the mascot of that park, and I think that should remain the case. And I think the mascot of the park deserves an attraction worthy of the mascot
you.
of the
Yes.
park.
I'm just gonna say this though, and I might someone name it. Is there an attraction at Magic Kingdom that has Mickey Mouse on it?
No,
I
mean-
only just thought this, and now I'm like, is there? Because you just said it, and now I'm like,
But
wait a minute.
I mean, you have the meet and greet with Mickey. You go to
That's true.
you have
the
meet and
Mickey
greets
in
with
Town
Mickey
Hall.
Mouse in Town Hall. I mean, so there is. I think
Fanfare.
it's a little different. I mean, everything's about Mickey Mouse in every park, but Figment is the icon or
Yeah.
the mascot of that park. And in the beginning, he had a suitable attraction to warrant that, and now he's just kind of like character homeless, or character abused is more accurate. But Craig, what do you think? Love it, hate it, replace it.
I'm gonna replace it, but we know that Epcot's going the intellectual property route. What I would do instead of any tie-ins to a movie, Inside Out, whatever, what I would do is keep the basis for imagination. It's that you can create anything. So here's a man, Walt Disney, who created this empire and inspired many other people, many Imagineers that went on to then create other creations for Disney. Why not show what your imagination can get you and show what Disney has done?
Wow.
And have
You have a Disneyneer.
that. Well, and
Telling
it's
ya.
like, you kind of see that story, that concept in one man's dream, what can happen, but it's a walkthrough. Just
Yeah.
think of how you can take a ride that people will be on. People will see it. They'll have to pay attention. It's when you walk, a lot of people just walk in, kind of look left and right at one man's dream, say, oh, there's a movie. It's 20 minutes long and I have to wait 15 minutes for it. I'll just exit out the back door. And that's kind of all it is. So this way, show how imagination can really be used in the real world. Don't just focus on Walt. Focus on Tony
That's-
Baxter, Marty Sklar, everyone.
Great
and
idea,
show
Craig.
what can happen.
Brilliant idea, Craig.
Thank you.
I don't usually use those words out loud. But
That's sort of what the original one was like, because I just watched the video the other day. So if you took Craig's idea and put it in with sort of like, the little bits of imagination from the original one, that'd be awesome.
I think that's a great idea. All right, here's another one for you. Tomorrowland Speedway. Craig.
I'm a replace it. I can't tell you what would go better in that area. The big thing is I was a kid once. I wanted the chance to drive one of those cars and I got it. and it was great for that. It's just ours is basically you're driving those cars out in a big open field with a whole lot of nothing. If it's different if it was like Disneyland, where you're driving up and around rough terrain, lots of greenery, different sights and sounds as you're going around. But ours is literally you're just driving cars in a big open field. So unless they could find a way to make it a little bit more unique, it's just not that much of a big attraction.
Rhino?
I like the idea of having like those kind of go-kart experience, but I do think it needs maybe like an updated version of it. Maybe I'd love to see some innovation there, because it feels like they're burning through an incredible amount of fossil fuels every single day.
No, I think that attraction is single-handedly responsible for global warming.
I am pretty sure it's the whole of the ozone
I think the Arctic poles go back to normal 20 minutes after they get rid of that attraction.
That's why I'm like, it seems so weird to me that they're not all battery powered at this point or something or whatever. I don't know. But like, so I would love to see some sort of cool update, maybe turn it into something. I'm not going to say Cars themed, but something just, it needs an
Corey
update.
has a response. He wants to see the Speedway with Tesla cars.
Yeah. There you go.
jeez.
Me, I want to see it made over because I want to be able to drive like Mr. Toad. And I think you should be able to drive the Mr. Toad car all the way around. It would be so fun.
How cool would that be if you
Yeah.
could choose different Disney attraction cars to drive? Like you could
Enclose
choose a
it,
boat
and then,
or a
yeah,
monorail
like giving you the virtual
or
experience. I even thought Cars, but because they already have Cars Land and everything else going on with that, so I thought of another way. Yeah, I need to ride in a car.
That's a great idea. Charles?
I actually love that idea. Enclose it and keep a similar track, maybe update the track a little bit and make it a dark ride, and that would please me. And everybody else in the Florida sun as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I'm fine with it. It's never interested me. It's never really been fun for me, but it's so boring. It doesn't
You just need to
have
take a
anything.
child. That's why.
Yeah. Well,
Or Rhino?
I've been a child, and it's still just it's got nothing there for me. Like some setting, some theming, just something better to make it interesting. It's like we were talking about. There's not a lot of exciting twists and turns on the Peoplemover, but it's got something. It doesn't have to be exciting or anything like that. It can be.
I'm
just
sorry.
like
I think
that.
the Peoplemover is a thrill ride compared to this thing.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Though, like this, give me a setting to like just cart around in, and I'll enjoy it more.
Kathy?
Replace it, but with what, I'm not sure. Listening to everybody's things, the Luigi's cars out in California, even something like that would be more fun because you feel like you're a part of it rather than, just driving a car around. And even my grandkids get bored doing that.
Yeah, for me, I don't know what the rules of love it, hate it, replace it are, but hate it,
You made it up.
hate it. No, these guys did. This is all from
Well,
them.
we do love it, hate it, or update it. So
I thought it was
talking
replace it.
about getting
So-
rid of it. So it's fine.
All right, so-
no, this is like
how about the I-4 experience where you just go and you sit in the cars and then you
that's-
get up and
The
walk away?
the I-4 experience is all over Disney World where you just wait in line.
Yeah.
Constantly waiting on I-4. No, I want to just level it and do something different.
yeah.
It's awful. It's such a waste of space. Waste of space, in my opinion. So that's what I think. I'd like to see something different. Although that idea of like having different cars
Yeah.
from
Yeah, I like that.
enclosing it, going battery
Closing it, or
powered.
at least
Gosh,
putting
what if
something.
you could ride the carousel horse off the carousel just like Mary Poppins did?
Yeah,
That would be cool.
could be very different. I think we're giving Disney some good ideas here, today, including raising prices on snacks. All right, so thank you guys. Very lively discussion today. I really liked the way this went. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know if you did or didn't. Well, if you didn't, but if you did, let us know. But that is going to do it for our show for this week. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back with you again next Tuesday with another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Thanks for being with us, everyone. And remember, stay out of the damn lakes, and Air Canada sucks.